Amaranth has bought a gas station. Jake Paul has denied having a no knockout clause in his boxing contracts. PewDiePie has called out Travis Scott's apology following the Astroworld disaster. All this plus we'll plant a tree for every person who shares this episode on Instagram. Definitely, for real. Not a scam. I put the wink in the script. On this week's edition of YouTuber News, hosted by me, Benedict Townsend, and brought to you by PopBuzz, the only website that's being adapted into a Hollywood musical starring James Corden. He will be playing the pop, and I will be playing the buzz. Our first story, popular streamer Amaranth has puzzled fans by revealing that she has spent millions of dollars buying a gas station. Life's so fun, got my miniskirt and my gas station. I don't even know what that song is, I just hear it on TikTok.
Desperate for them to know that you do watch TikTok and
Yeah,
it's relevant.
I'm young and cool. The Twitch star is normally known for her gaming and hot tub streams, among other things that I cannot mention on Snapchat, the Family app. But this week she tweeted that she was getting into the gas game, a move that most fans responded to with a profound huh? But which was downgraded to a what? When she finally explained her intentions. Okay, so she laid out this whole plan in a series of tweets, and look, I'm not a maths guy, I'm a news guy, I'm a comedy guy, I'm a six-pack abs guy, but I'm not a maths guy. But for you, dear viewer, I would do almost anything. Even something as agonizing as trying to understand basic mathematics. Okay, let's delve into the tweets. A newly built gas station in a major metropolitan area. 100,000 cars pass by daily. Costs $4 million. She invests $1 million and borrows the rest, $3 million. With applicable laws, an accelerated depreciation charge of approximately $3 million. $3 million times 0.37, $110,010. So for 2021, I will owe $1,110,000 less dollars in income tax. She makes a load of money and then pays less tax than she would have before. And if you're wondering how that's possible, it's because she's rich. And if you have enough money, you get to play by an entirely different set of rules to regular people. Reality is simply different for you. It's like playing with all the cheats on. I'm not begrudging her wealth, like she earned it fair and square. I'm just saying the system we have seems good. Seems like a good system. Oh, but it's not illegal, Ben. It's not illegal. People always say that. They're like, oh, well, it's legal. It's like, yeah, it's like just because something's legal doesn't mean it's like morally good. If you're using that framework, you're not gonna like all of history. Because spoiler alert, that's how all the bad things happened. They just made them legal and then did them. Where do you think jorts came from? Our second story, Jake Paul has denied having a no KO clause in his contract after being accused of cheating in his fights by rival Dylan Dennis, or Denny. Jake said, quote, look, it's a bunch of losers trying to make shit up to get in the headlines. Well, he's in the headlines. Well done, Daddy. Going on to say that they just made it all up for clout. He continued, having a no knockout clause in a contract, I've never heard of that. It's highly illegal. I would be in jail. I guess? I don't know. He keeps going. That's like rigging a fight. I would be in prison if that was a real thing. It's all nonsense. It's all bullshit. And they got exactly what they wanted out of it, which was for people to mention their name, Dylan Dennis. First of all, Jake Paul wouldn't go to jail because Jake Paul is rich, and as we've established, it's not how the world works. I actually have a similar clause in my contract with Dan Howell that says if I ever run into him in person, he's not allowed to knock me the out for misusing his name for many years. I could take Dan Howell in a fight. Although he's got the height advantage. Two weak men grappling on the ground. And we've got a whole other story, but before that, it's time for arguably the highlight of the show. It's time for Ryan's joke. Here comes Ryan's hand. Thank you. Oh, Jesus Christ, Ryan. A new viral video shows a YouTube scientist dissolving a hot dog in acid in under 10 seconds. Sounds impressive. And if you want to see hot dogs being dissolved faster, pay a visit to your mama. Jesus Christ, Ryan. This is a family show. What would Snapchat, the family app, have to say about this? Hopefully this one's a little bit more appropriate. With Thanksgiving approaching, Mr. Beast recently held an event aimed at supporting lower income families. In the spirit of the holiday season, Mr. Beast gave away 10,000 free turkeys in his Greenville hometown. It would not surprise me if boiling beneath the surface of this congenial act of philanthropy lay dormant a sinister and much more miserable plan. There is no such thing as a free lunch. The gulf between those two jokes. Keemstar has launched a campaign to financially support his fans in need of therapy. This is good news for Keemstar fans, as they are the most in need of therapy. This year's highest paid YouTuber, 9-year-old Ryan Kaji of Ryan's World, is facing threats from the US Federal Trade Commission over allegations he is not properly disclosing his video sponsorships. Which makes me wonder, are they teaching anything to these kids in school? Oh, I love this segment so much. Side note, when I was in school, we didn't have influencers. The closest thing we had was influenza. I'm not that old, Ryan. And finally, now I don't usually love covering PewDiePie on this show because I find him tiresome, but he's very famous online, so sometimes you've got to take a dip in the creek, and this week Felix was actually one of not that many creators who called out Travis Scott and his bizarre apology video following the tragedy at Astroworld. Now if you're not aware, Travis posted a kind of cringe black and white video where he was looking really sad and saying sorry. He also pledged to pay the funeral costs of the people who died at Astroworld, and also partnered with BetterHelp to offer 1 month free to anyone who attended the show and has been traumatized. First of all, don't partner with anyone when you're dealing with people who've died at your show. Second of all, 1 month free, how generous. Third of all, I've seen people saying you get a month free when you just sign up anyway. Also, famously, the reason why they give you a free month is because they're hoping you'll forget to cancel and then they can charge your credit card. He's just looking to accidentally charge a bunch of traumatized children on their credit cards for BetterHelp, which by the way, apparently sucks. Loads of real therapists say that it's like really poor. They don't get actually proper licensed professionals on the app. Also, like almost every app, it's just a massive data mining operation where they sell all your personal information. Anyway, speaking about Travis Scott, PewDiePie said, quote, "I rate this apology absolutely dog shit. 0 out of 10. Yeah, I think he didn't realize how bad it was, but he definitely saw people being injured, so it doesn't matter. I think the people behind the scenes were just trying to keep it going because they don't want to give refunds if they have to cancel it. Honestly, a better apology would have just been to say, you know what, I was drugged out of my mind. That's what I do on concerts. Honestly, I couldn't tell anything. I trusted my event organizer. I don't know, anything would have been better than this." And he's referring to the apology video. And you know, we don't know if Travis was on drugs. A professional rap or rock musician on drugs at a big concert? I don't know if I can believe that. You know, PewDiePie is right here. Like, anything would have been better than that apology. I mean, nothing is really going to make this better. It's, you know, such a terrible tragedy, and it was handled so poorly on every conceivable front. But you know, maybe 2 months of BetterHelp. I don't know what would have been better. You can't commodify therapy into just like some app. Therapy needs to be something where you go to a professional and it costs an incredible amount of money, so only a small amount of people who have a lot of money can get therapy. That's what therapy is meant to be. If you're not getting therapy right now, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, get a 5th job, and then maybe you can afford to talk to a professional. And with that, dear friends, we do come to the end of the show. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. Actually, don't consider it. Bloody do it by hitting subscribe on YouTube or by swiping up on the last snap of this story. I'll be back next week with the YouTuber News podcast, with YouTuber News Quick Bites, and of course another episode of YouTuber News, the main show. Also, keep your eyes peeled for the podcast because because we've got some special guests coming up, which is going to be really fun. And also, if you have any fan mail or complaints you want to send me, you can post it in to the YouTuber News Tower, 1 YouTuber News Square, London. It's the biggest tower in town. Or you can drop it off at one of the many gas stations I own. Bye!